Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kaylee and today I'm building a pretty large coastal family home. It's inspired by the Dutch colonial houses in the Hamptons of New York. This house took me a very long time to build because it's so big and it has so many different features, particularly the backyard. It's quite large. There's lots to do in the backyard. So I'm splitting this video into two videos, part one and part two. So this is part one, where I mainly build the exterior of the home and do all of the landscaping in the backyard and I believe the garage. So getting into it, right now I'm doing the roofing, and the roofing was pretty simple, thank goodness. I'm still trying to figure out how to do roofing. Not the best at it, but every day get a little bit better. Practice makes not perfect, but better. So I'm going in. I tried to figure out how to attach. I wanted the garage attached to the house, or at least have some sort of like open walkway that leads into the backyard, and I just couldn't make it work. So I end up deleting this area, making the garage bigger, and then deleting this little area so the garage is fully detached from the house. One of the reasons I'm building this home today is because I wanted to play around with Hey Harry's Coastal Collection set. The Coastal Collection features 8 different sets. During this video, at the time of filming this video, I only had parts 1 through 7 installed. So I recently just downloaded part 8, and it is beautiful. I love it. The part 8 is really just focusing on the living room. So it has like an interior sofa and some extra decor items that are really pretty. But that will be featured in a separate video, in the next video probably that I post. The items in this collection are modeled after, I guess the same place that like I'm taking inspiration for building this house, which is like the Hamptons and the East Coast. I am not super familiar with this style because I live on the West Coast, on a West Coast beach town, but a lot of the homes in real life around me that get remodeled are built kind of in this style. I don't know if you call it like a Hamptons or Cape Cod style. I think maybe it's Cape Cod. But it features a lot of like this white, just white everything, black roof and black window trim. I didn't do the black window trim on here because it felt a little bit too harsh. I wanted this to be more white, cream based, very luxurious feeling with not as much modern touches on it. I wanted more of that not rundown, but you know, just like beachy coastal vibe coming out. So I also did something new when I started building this, and this is like trying to train myself to build better for YouTube purposes. I normally, when I'm building, I jump all over the place. My ADHD brain is just like, sees one thing and is like, oh, I should put this in the backyard, and oh, this goes in the front yard, and I just jump all over the place. And when I speed it up in YouTube videos, oh my God, like you're gonna have a seizure watching me try to build at 4 or 5 times the normal speed. So I'm trying to be more methodical about it and do the shell of the house first, and then take care of the exterior and all the landscaping, and just kind of have more of like a flow to my process. I think I like stick with it for the most part here in the beginning, and then kind of lose track as the days go on, because I did not sit down and build this all in one day. It probably took me about 4 days to build this house off and on. And even with the footage sped up 4 to 5 times its original speed, the collective footage that I have runs over or close to an hour long. So for that reason, I am splitting this build up into two parts. So part one is focusing on the exterior shell, the shell of the house, the exterior, the backyard, and a lot of the landscaping. There is a lot going on in the backyard because there's a whole pool section. There's a raised patio, there's a gardening area, there's a sand pit for kids. I really wanted to do my best to include every single item from the Coastal Collection that I had installed thus far. I think I accomplished that. I love this Coastal Collection. It's so pretty, it's so versatile. The swatches on each item are beautiful. The colorways that she chooses, I think the colorways are consistent with other items that of Hey Harry's, which is one thing that I love about CC creators, is that they usually keep their swatches consistent between all items. So you can mix and match much easier. We all appreciate that. Here I'm going in with some debug landscaping, and I talked about this in my last video, but landscaping in the base game is just, I mean, it's all right, you know, it's standard, I guess, items, but I'm just not great at landscaping yet. So I think I did a pretty good job with this one. I like how it turns out, but landscaping, it just takes forever. It's so tedious to me. I'm still learning to love it. Here I am starting on the little gardening patch area. So I put in some flower garden boxes as well as a gardening table, a vertical planter stand, and then I just clutter up this gardening table with different accessories like fertilizer and gardening books. I place a little Nomi right there. And then also I put some seeds there, some pre-purchased seeds for your Sims to use in those planter boxes. And then I use these lounge chairs from the Jardin set by Harry and Felix, as well as the umbrella. And then the side tables are from, I believe, Felix Andre's Kyoto set. They are super sleek looking. Yeah, this house really is just like my dream Hamptons Mansion home. And then here I am. I wanted to make sure that I incorporated the sandbox by Hey Harry somehow. I put this monkey bar set behind the garage, but I end up deleting it. And that's where I put the outdoor trash cans behind the garage. I'm adding a side door to the house because I figured they need some easy access to the garage since it is not connected to the home. And inside the garage, you can see I put some fancy cars from Debug as well. And then, yeah, here I'm adding the fence posts and things around, also all from Harry's Coastal Collection. And then I'm adding some trees to kind of zhuzh up the landscaping a little bit more and, you know, blend the house in so it's not just all boxes when you're looking at the house. There's some interest points. The house is very symmetrical. I even put two of the same chimneys. I believe they're the Domaine du Clos from Pierre Sim chimneys on both sides, even though this house I don't think has a single fireplace in it, but fuck it. And now I'm going in to the floor plan, and I sped this up like a bajillion times because I don't know, floor plans are interesting to me, but god damn, it took me forever to try and figure out what I wanted to do because I just had so much space to work with, and I was trying to figure it out on the fly, and go with my gut here. So the right side of the house is dedicated to family living. So that's where I'm going to put the living room, dining room, and kitchen. And then on the left side of the house, this part really gave me hell. I wanted to include, like I said earlier, a playroom and an office space. And the doors and way windows were lining up, just it was not working out for me. It's particularly this back part right here. So I ended up doing some weird diagonal walls and making this weird room. And then I didn't like, because all these like rooms were coming out of this hallway. There's this one hallway and it had just so many doors in there. I think like 4 doors in one hallway, in one tiny little square hallway. And I was like, this is just too much visually, too many doors. So I had to figure that out. I made it work. But so now I'm going in the kitchen. Again, the Coastal Collection kitchen set is probably my most used buy items and like set ever. If I could only choose one CC set to have, it would be this Coastal Collection, because it's just so versatile and goes with so many different styles. And now I'm putting in the dining area. This side of the house actually worked out really well. It's very open concept, which I like for this house. It feels very modern. The living area is a little bit smaller than I like to do, but for my Sims builds, but you know, it's totally functional. It works. The couches are from Harry's country set. I forget what it's called, but it's like country farmhouse or something. I don't know. Now I'm going with the flooring from Pierre Sim. I think this is the MCM flooring. I could be wrong though. It'll be on the screen. You can see it. Again, also, oh my gosh. Here's where I forgot that I wanted to put a hallway to the backyard. And I realized this. I'm realizing I wanted it to be a 2-way hallway, like accessible on both sides, but I totally cut it off by putting the kitchen there. I was not going to change the kitchen though, because I love giant kitchens. Very American of me. I love giant kitchens, and I didn't want to change the kitchen layout I had. I was so happy with it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make it a 1-way hallway. And I guess you'll just have to walk through the playroom to get outside. It's not really realistic, or like, I mean, if it was realistic, it would kind of be a problem. I wouldn't want the playroom there, because I wouldn't want kids to just be able to walk outside whenever, like without anyone knowing. I don't know. You wouldn't want to have guests like have to walk through toys and stuff to get outside. That would be weird. But I was like, well, screw it. This floor plan is already like giving me a headache, so I'm just gonna leave it as is and move on. Upstairs, I'm adding some wallpaper. I tried to use a lot of Hey Harry, but I also used Charlie Pancake's small set, SMOL, small. And the blue is just beautiful. I told y'all it's gonna be a blue Suburban, as Lil Simsy would say. I'm obsessed with blue Suburbans. I love the color blue, and I love the different swatches of blue that these CC creators have in their swatches. It's gorgeous. So now I'm doing the entryway. I add the full-length mirror from Hey Harry's not the Coastal Collection. I don't know where that full-length mirror is from. I forgot. But I am adding a lot of little touches, some clutter pieces to the entryway. And now moving along where the stair landing is, I just put a little like reading nook. The chair I use is from Pierre Sim's Calderon set. And then here I'm looking for the perfect rug. I wanted something circular, but to kind of, you know, fit or break up all the hard right corners. But then it was also an awkward space, and it wasn't fitting. And then now you'll see my ADHD brain going like, oh, I like this rug and I want to use it, but I want to remember to use it, so I'll just put it in the other room for now. And Yeah, it's not really conducive for YouTube filming purposes, but I'm working on it, guys. I'm getting the hang of this. I put in the railing, and the railing glitch, like this is before the base game updated. I actually don't even know if they fixed that in the base game update, but y'all know the railing has been glitching. So I put one railing in there. I was like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to change it. It didn't glitch. I'm going with that. The bookcase I'm using, I use a lot in this house. I just love this bookcase. It has so many different sizes of cubbies, and it's so visually interesting to look at. So I'm adding this little reading nook here, and a lamp, I believe, from the MCM kit by Pierre Sim. And then I am moving on to, I tried to put a painting up here, and it looks so weird because the wall is weird with the staircase. I didn't really know how to go about that, so I was like, whatever, I'll just move on. I'm doing the downstairs bathroom, which is just a powder room. I love the tile in this bathroom. It's so pretty. And again, using Harry's Coastal Collection set for the bathroom, except for the mirror. The mirror is very similar, but it's actually from Oak House by Pierre Sim. I use a ton of Pierre Sim, way more than I realized. And now I'm going in and cluttering up the bathroom with some Clutter Cat objects and keeping it pretty simple, and adding a towel rack from Oak House by Pierre Sim, and then moving right along. Oh, we're going back to the living room. So I'm adding a table also from Hey Harry's Country kit, and then moving the windows, scooching those windows over a bit so that I can fit a nice big art frame TV. And then I realized, I should probably add curtains before I add any furniture. And I think it's because this first floor is on a platform, like raised up once on a platform. So for some reason the curtains were acting up. So I just had to alt place everything, which was annoying, but we got it done. We did it. This corner felt a little bit empty, so I decided to put a little sideboard thing here, a little hutch. And then, yeah, I'm still just doing the basics, like not cluttering things up. Going back to the living room, adding all the chairs, again, also from the Coastal Collection. And then I left a space for a high chair because I knew that I was going to have babies in this house. This is going to be a house for families. So definitely left some space for that, and thought about, making spaces for kids and clutter for kids all throughout the house, not just in the kids' bedrooms, which is what I'm kind of guilty of and tend to do. But it's not realistic, is it? Kids, they take over your life, and their shit goes everywhere. So I want that to reflect in my Sims builds as well. Here I am doing the pantry area of the kitchen, and I freaking love this. Like, I said this in the last build, but bathrooms and kitchens are the most luxurious things to me in a home in real life, and so that also reflects in my Sims builds. I love giant kitchens and gorgeous, luxurious feeling bathrooms. So I'm cluttering up the kitchen space. I would love, I don't have a kitchen like this at all in my real life home, but oh my God, would I love a kitchen this big and just with this much storage space. Girl can dream, right? Until then, my Sims will live out my fantasies. I'm scooching over. This is so tedious, but the way to clutter all of this, because I don't use the tool mod, the take objects off lot mod by Twisted Maxi. I would love to learn how, but that's for a later time, babes. Right now I'm just freehanding it, which is, fiddling with objects, putting them on the shelf, scooting it over, and then alt placing, putting the shelf back. It's a whole thing. You can see on the screen. This kind of cluttering takes forever, but It really does make a build look so much better and just more realistic and lived in. So it is worth the time. Although, I don't know. Let me know if you guys like seeing the cluttering process, or if it's something that you don't really care about, and I can cut out of the videos to shorten it, because I don't want to cut anything that obviously like you guys like watching. For me, when I watch YouTube videos, I really like watching people's cluttering processes, but as a creator, it feels like just extra. Like, I'm like, dude, does anyone actually care about this? I mean, it takes so long. Even sped up, it takes a while, like sped up. And then here I'm adding little table decor. I added in the baby high chair. I'm adding some gorgeous lighting, fixtures, and then going back into the living room and cluttering up the living room a little bit more. Now that I've got the spacing of everything figured out with all the larger furniture pieces, I can go in with plants and books and picture frames and all that good stuff. I'm really proud of the way that this living space turned out. It's just so beautiful. What can I say? Tooting my own horn here. I think it's gorgeous. But also, major credit to the CC creators, because, you know, EA cannot compete with these pieces, these furniture pieces. Another thing I really struggle with, and I'm still trying to figure out, is pillow placement. I know that non-CC players just recently got cushions or pillows that they can add to couches and beds with the Modern Luxe kit. CC players and users have had these pillows for these, you know, free moving placeable pillows for a very long time. And there's an art form to it takes an art form to place pillows that, you know, compositionally and color theory like wise makes sense. So still trying to figure that out, but you know, it's like landscaping. You just stack them and layer and rearrange until you're like, okay, I need to move on. Here I'm doing the console table, just filling it out a little bit more. Not too much though, just adding some things on top, a picture frame and a little like storage jar thing. And then these photos are from these leaning frames that I'm putting on up right now, are from Joyce's Fox. I freaking love those things. They come with so many different swatches, and they're so, again, versatile. They go with like every single build style. Well, not every single, but a lot of build styles, especially if you like modern transitional. Look into it, babes. Now I'm going in and finishing cluttering up. I already did the pantry side of the kitchen, but now I'm going in towards the like cooking side and putting in some pasta jars, some olive oil and vinegar and spices, cutting board, bowl of oranges, all of that good stuff. And then on the other side of the stove, I cluttered it up enough so that it felt lived in, but not too much that it's, you know, overwhelming or feels like claustrophobic. I mean, it's a giant house. It's hard to feel claustrophobic. That's the thing about giant houses, is like you really have to clutter them up more to fill out the space, because there's just so much space. So yeah, here I am just adding little tidbits there. And then I also did an island. Love this island. And I love that sink, that like deep bucket sink. That's not a technical term. I just came up with that. Anyways, moving along into this hallway, this side of the house hallway that connects the house to the garage and backyard, I decided it would be the perfect opportunity to use Peacemaker's Matilda mudroom set, which is a modular mudroom shelving unit that you can build. And these are just the default swatches of it. I was like, it goes so perfectly with the dark blue of the door. I don't even have to change it. Less work for me, so we'll leave it at that. I'm cluttering up the shelves here, just adding touches of realism all throughout the house, and, you know, taking for fucking ever to add these details. Way too long, in my opinion. Way too long. But then I get lost in the process, and I totally lose track of time, and I'm just like, oh, I want this little thing and this little thing here, and oh, I should change it out for this. These are tiny details that in the long run, like, is anyone really going to notice these things? I mean, you're noticing them because I'm pointing them out to you, but, you know, if you were to just look at this build, would you really notice all the effort that I put into it? I don't know. I do it for myself, okay? The next room I move into is the playroom, which, the shape of it, let me tell you, it's got a lot of character. It's a really funky shape. 10 out of 10 would not recommend building a room in this shape, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. So the playroom, I start by just pulling out literally every single, or as many kids' toys as I can, and there are a lot between all the different CC sets I have. We have plenty of children's toys. I'm gonna burp. Okay. So I paint. I couldn't decide. It took me forever to decide on the wallpaper. I ended up going with this gorgeous blue one. I think it's from Pierre Sim. Pretty sure. I love this wallpaper so much because it's got like a gorgeous amount of texture. It's not too much, but it's also not so subtle that you can't see it. It's, I think, the perfect amount. I add a Wabbit tablet in here, and also the Tiny Twavelas activity desk for kids, I think. I don't think toddlers can use that desk, because I created a family to play in this house, and it's a mom and a dad and a toddler with a baby on the way. They're trying for a baby right now. They're not pregnant yet, but they're trying for a baby. And the toddler, I don't think, is able to play with that activity table. The toddler is also not able to access all of the toys in this room, unfortunately. But it took me so long to clutter them. I was not about to go back in and move everything around and reclutter things. I was like, screw it. The kid has a toy box that he can access. He can read books. He can play with the Wabbit tablet and, you know, other toys and dollhouse. So fuck it. He's fine. And then I'm trying to think, what else do I do in this video? Because like I mentioned at the beginning, this video is part 1 of this house. Part 2 will include cluttering upstairs. So I believe the playroom is like the last part. I didn't show you the hallway. Oh, I forgot the office. I did the office next. But there's another hallway that I did clutter that I don't end up showing you, and it's the hallway that leads to the backyard. It's really tiny. It's a small room, and it just, anything to cut down the time, because I was getting stressed out. This video was originally one long video, and it was like almost an hour long, and I didn't want to do a voiceover upload an hour-long video. It's only my second video, so yeah, so this is the office space. Really tiny, but it gets the job done. It's aesthetically pleasing, okay? What more do you want from me? And yeah, I put a little seating area, a tiny little pathetic seating area in this corner over here because I didn't know what else to put over there. And then I put some shelves on the wall opposite the window and clutter those up. And that will be all for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this, then like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned because part 2 is coming real soon. I'll be posting that very shortly. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in that video. Bye, everybody.